Okay, ma'am.
A warm good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's one-day state-level webinar on post-truth narratives during pandemic times. I'm Shahzadi, lecturer in English, convener of this program. On behalf of our V.K.V Government Degree College and Department of English, I take the opportunity to welcome all the participants. My hearty welcome to our today's resource person, Dr. N. Sajna Raj, and I welcome our beloved JD and Principal Sir V. Papai Sastri Garu. Thank you one and all for joining us. And today's agenda for webinar is that our beloved Principal, Chairman of this program, will give his opening remarks and he will give overview of our college. Next, our much awaited talk by our resource person will be presented. So now I request our Principal Sir to give brief introduction about our college. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, madam. First of all, I will congratulate. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, first of all, I will congratulate the Department of English for launching this webinar, wonderful webinar. Today, day-to-day life, the knowledge of English or communication skills plays a vital role. So, keeping in view our Department of English organized a wonderful webinar with the guest member, Dr. Sajna Raj, Associate Professor, Adikavi, Nannaya University, I think, who is the student of Ramesh Garu. Am I correct, madam?
Yes, sir. PhD scholar of Ramesh, sir.
You are from which university?
I'm basically from Kerala, sir. I did till my post graduation from Kerala and MPhil from University of Hyderabad.
Okay. Anyway, he is also your guru.
Yeah.
So, as our college is concerned, this V.K.V Government Degree College was established in 1979, and in the name of V.K.V, who is popularly known as Adikavi, poet of the people. The college is located in Kothapeta village on the banks of sacred river Godavari. The village is situated in Kothapeta Assembly and Amalapuram Parliamentary Constituency of East Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. Before the establishment of this college, there was no degree college in Kothapeta Taluk up to 1979. Higher education was a distinct dream for these rural people. So the youth of this area had to go either to Rajamahendravaram or Amalapuram for higher education. Keeping this in view, philanthropists like Sri M.V.S. Subbaraju put in great effort for the establishment of this college in the Kothapeta Taluk trust, and subsequently this college caters to the needs of students hailing from 82 villages surrounding Kothapeta. The college is in its 41st year of existence. The college started its mission of providing higher education with a student strength of 84. The present strength is 300. At the time of inception of this college, had two programs of study, namely BA Economics, History and Political Science, and BCom in the year 1985-86. Two science programs, namely BSc Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry and BSc Botany, Zoology and Chemistry were added. Now we are having two self-finance programs, namely BSc Computer Science and BSc Biotechnology. Now we are having BCom Computer Applications and one more market-oriented course in BS stream, that is tourism. So in the year 1996, the college was shifted to its home and new premises which measures to 5.69 acres. At the time of shifting the college, has only 5 classrooms. Later on, with the relentless of work of Sri former MLA B. Sajna Raj, the college has acquired 4 additional classrooms accommodation. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University Room, which was opened by the then Honorable Minister for Higher Education, Sri GMC Balayogi. Office cum staff room was constructed from MP funds. It has a good record. It has a good record of the among the proud alumni are leaders and educationalists and administrators like Sri Bandar Satyanandarao Garu, former MLA, Reddy Subramanian Garu, former Mandal President, District Employment Officer, IITNs, etc. The college is the center of light and knowledge to the people of Konaseema, surrounding by mango and banana groves with historic and cultural heritage. In 2014, our institution was awarded NAAC B grade. Recently, under ROSA grants, 4 classrooms were constructed and provided with digital facilities. So, with this introduction, I request the Associate Professor Adikavi Nannaya University Madam to continue. I will hand over the mic to our English Head of the Department, Shahjadi Begum. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. A small announcement for our participants. The chat box will be disabled now. If you have any questions during presentation, please note them down in your book. After the talk, the chat box will be enabled. Then you can post your questions in the chat box and they will be answered by our resource person. Thank you. So coming to the topic, post-truth is something that relates to a situation in which people are more likely to accept an argument based on their emotions and beliefs rather than facts. We all know that in few short months, the coronavirus has spread almost every corner of the globe. So did the online theories traveled faster than the virus. People were in a panic state and could not make out what is right and what is wrong, and they did not do any kind of research, and simply they have followed whatever news that came in the social media. So now gradually the theories that were practiced were turned to be wrong now. So this is the post-truth era we live in. So now I take it as a privilege to introduce our today's resource person, Dr. N. Sajna Raj, to throw some light upon these issues. She is an assistant professor at Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajamahendravaram, Andhra Pradesh. She has been teaching postgraduate students at Department of English for more than a decade. She did her graduation, post-graduation and B.Ed at University of Calicut in Kerala, followed by the research degrees MPhil and PhD at University of Hyderabad and Adikavi Nannaya University respectively. She was awarded JRF in 2008 and she has presented number of papers at national and international conferences and published papers in international journals, articles in books. Her areas of interest include Indian writing in English, British literature, and disability literature. Furthermore, she is keen on exploring new areas of knowledge in literature and humanities. So now I welcome our resource person, Dr. N. Sajna Raj Madam, to take over the session. It's over to you, Madam.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your introduction. Happy to see you all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible, madam.
Okay. So let's start. Okay, as we have already told about post-truth. Okay, we all are living in post-truth era only. So I have to throw some light on post-truth. So I'll be trying to do that. Well, let me just share my screen. Just a minute. Just give me a minute for that. Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
I mean, is the yeah.
Typing పంపించండి.
Okay. I hope it's okay now. Okay, so I'm going to start by asking what is truth. So we all know, we all have learned about truth in your school days itself. So we have some thoughts about truth. So when we think about truth, we connect it to reality, something that is real, okay, something that is genuine, something that conforms to fact. And we don't try to bring any kind of fabrication in that, something that is not invented or guessed, something that is accepted as true. So that will be truth. So based on that, we have different kinds of truth also. We speak about scientific truth, we speak about universal truths, we speak about absolute truth. So what we usually believe by the word truth is that it will not change. So truth will be the same. And we have many dictums also about truth. We say that Satyam eva jayate, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. All those things actually we have been we have been acquainted with all these things since our childhood. So over the years, even the thoughts about truth also have changed. So if I just try to speak about Nietzsche, German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, his views on truth. So he was actually trying to give a different view on truth, not like what we all were thinking about. So he thought that truth is essentially a kind of peace pact. It is again, man lives in a society. So man is around other people in society. So there should be some kind of rules and regulations to protect himself from others. So that is why it's a kind of peace pact. And if anybody tries to violate that, that person is again a liar. So here we see two kinds of polarities. That means if truth is something that conforms to a set of rules and regulations, and lie is again something that violates that. So even from this quote itself, he says that he who cannot lie doth not know what truth is. So even if we have to understand what truth is, we have to know what lie is. So it is actually understood from a structuralist point of view. That means we can see the two polarities in the word truth also. So why I'm telling you about Nietzsche, I'll tell you later. So because Nietzsche was one of the predecessors of post-truth. Okay, he did not use the word post-truth at that time, but he was one of the chief predecessors. That's why actually I brought Nietzsche also to this context. So when we come to the term post-truth, this is a term that we usually see in journalism. I mean, in some of the news channels and all. At least some of you might have seen this term being used, post-truth. So as we have, already heard that we all are living in post-truth era. So post-truth is again, it's not a new concept. It was always there. But again, these days we start using the term post-truth. So according to Oxford English Dictionary, this was a word that was used in 2016. Okay, that means it became the word. It was used even before that also. That became the word of the year. So that was the time when US election was conducted. So Trump was contesting in the election, and that means there was Hillary Clinton was also contesting in that. So there were a number of debates about this election. So some one party, Republic Party, would be giving some set of promises. Democratic Party would be giving another set of promises. So all these promises were just like some set of lies. So the journalists were again giving this kind of a color, post-truth. They were just telling that it was something called post-truth. So it began to be used. That's why it began to be used during US elections in 2016. So even now also, even before and now also, at the time of elections, we see a number of promises given. So promises given, and then they'll be trying to highlight themselves in a different shade. So that is why I already told you it's not a new concept. That was always there, but the word was not widely used. So it is more used more in journalism than in other fields, because journalists will be trying to report events that happened in different parts of the world. So they will be trying to give a true picture. Not all journalists, but again, that is a part of their ethics, professional ethics. So they will try to do that. Usually this word is used to review political scenario. But don't think that it is just limited to political scenario. It can be used in other sectors also. Okay, even in advertisement, corporate sector and all, we see that. So even in many advertisements, to sell the product more, they'll be using their views in such a way that people will be convinced by that. That may not be factual. Whatever they are presenting may not be factual. That may not be reality also. But people are again in a way brainwashed to believe whatever they project is true. So in corporate sector also, we can see that. Now, so who are the predecessors of post-truth? I have already told you about Friedrich Nietzsche. He was the chief predecessor of post-truth. And it was again truth, and that was there in the essay Truth and Lying in an Extra Moral Sense. It was published in 1873. Then another person of dot is again Hannah Arendt, that is again Lying in Politics, 1972. She uses this term to speak about defactualization. That means one is not able to understand what is fact and what is fiction. So journalists, if they try to present the events in such a way, some will not be able to understand what is fact and what is fiction. So people will be confused over facts. So whenever we actually use the word fact, we think that fact is something that is real. That is how we have been thinking about the word fact. But in the post-truth era, we cannot always say that fact is something real. Okay. So fact is given a different shade of meaning also. And then this particular word, okay, that was again used in the word post-truth era, dishonesty and deception in the contemporary life by Ralph Case. So in that book, actually, we see this word and this word being used widely, and he speaks about post-truth era. So he says that we all live in post-truth era. So I'm just taking one quote from that. Okay. So he says that even though they have always been liars, lies have usually been told with hesitation, a dash of anxiety, a bit of guilt, a little shame, at least some sheepishness. Now, clever people that we have come with rationals for tampering with truth so we can dissemble guilt-free. I call it post-truth. We live in a post-truth era. That's why usually we teach our kids that children should not tell lies. They should speak truth. Okay, that is what we usually teach them. Even when they are able to speak, since their childhood, we give that kind of a moral lesson. So as years go, okay, as we are actually in this 21st century, people are not bothered about telling lies. Even if we just try to count the number of lies we say every day, every person may be telling one or the other lie a day. So these lies do not have that much of, we do not think that it's again a violation of some sort of rule or something like that. So we are not even ashamed of telling a lie also. So it has lost that tinge of, violation of some rule or some moral principle. So and what we usually say is that everybody does that, everybody tells lie. So what is the problem in that? So we can just live with a free conscience, thinking that okay, it's a part of our life, no problem. So that is actually, in that context, our Ralph case brings this kind of a term, post-truth. That's why he says that we all live in post-truth era. Lie, actually nobody likes to be called a liar. Even if we tell lies also, we don't want to be called, we don't want to admit that we have actually told a lie. So instead of that, we'll be just trying to put things in such a way that it does not look like lie. But it's not truth. So truth is always exclusive. Truth cannot actually have different shades. If truth is one, means truth will remain the same. Okay, truth cannot actually change and truth cannot be something else. So what we actually try to do is that, people generally, they'll be just trying to show that, okay, it's not fully lie, it's not fully truth. It may be a mixture of both. So nobody can immediately trace it out. Nobody can immediately, accuse the other person of telling a lie. So that is what here he says. So he actually brings, Ralph case brings a particular word called, it's a coinage, euphemisia. You all might have English students and English teachers might have heard the word euphemism. So this is similar to euphemism only. So here he uses this word euphemisia. So and here he just says, by euphemisia, it is again enhanced truth, neo truth, soft truth, false truth, and truth lie. These are the words actually he uses to speak about post truth. Okay, so it so again, actually, if we are given some kind of a questionnaire, okay, you just have to say yes or no, true or false. So here it is not true or it is not false. Okay, more than that, it is again another set, okay, another category in which we can find a number of ambiguous statements. So those statements are not clear. You will not be able to tell whether it is a lie or whether it is truth. Okay, so that is why it's a category of ambiguous statements. So, but we cannot fully say that it's a lie totally. So that's why it is not truth, not lies, something that falls short of a lie. So the advantage here is that it doesn't have the sting of telling lies. And so if somebody has to use that, that person should have more linguistic creativity, because they will be using the words, the language in such a way that it will not be shown like a lie. So these are actually some of the euphemistic expressions to denote lies. So I'm just telling some of the expressions. All these things are mentioned in Ralph Case books. So poetic truth, parallel truth, nuanced truth, imaginative truth, virtual truth, alternative reality, selective disclosure, nearly true, almost true, fact-based information. So if we actually say poetic truth, if we just analyze the word poetic truth, okay, poets will be using a lot of imagination. So a poet can say things in a different way. Okay, it may be a different kind of truth. It may not be the truth that is offered by the society. So truth definitely will not have another parallel to speak about a parallel truth. And truth will not have nuances also. Truth will be the same. Truth, we have already seen in the definition of truth that truth is not something that is invented or something that is guessed. So when we use the word imaginative truth, definitely it is not truth, it's lie. So then again, virtual truth, we are now in the virtual space also. So whatever we see in the virtual space need not be truth. So that is again a different thing. And alternative reality, and this word actually began to be used widely in 2017, alternative reality. So reality is this, but again you are offering another kind of reality, okay, so which the one who wants to show will be projecting. And disclosure, because there are many things we try not to reveal, Okay, there are, suppose, if something has to be shown completely, if we have to give a true picture of something completely, what should be there? Everything should be revealed. So instead of that, what they will do is that they will be disclosing something. They'll be revealing something, they'll be disclosing something. There is always a policy of selective disclosure. That means something that is negative, they don't want to disclose, that they'll be keeping with themselves. Something that is positive only they'll be highlighting. So in a way that will not give a complete true picture. And next one is again nearly true. Okay, so true, we cannot say that something is nearly true. Something is true. Okay, so that is what I've already told you. Truth is exclusive, and it's almost true. When we say that it's almost true, that means it's not fully true. Okay, it is somewhat closer to true, but there are some lies in it. Otherwise, an element of lie is also in it. And so nowadays, when we don't know what exactly is truth, okay, we can just say that it's a fact-based information. These are the facts we received. Whether these facts are genuine or not, we don't know. So we can just say that it's fact-based information. So these are some of the euphemistic expressions to denote lies. So then, how can we tell lies without without getting that sting of it? Okay, without feeling the sting, how can we tell lies? So therefore, that also actually Ralph Case has used some expressions. So he says that it is again enrich the truth, enhance the truth. So truth is the same thing only. If you are trying to enrich the truth, it may end up in a lie. If you just try to enhance the truth also, there is a possibility of ending it in lie. So that it is again a way to tell lies. Massage the truth. Okay. So these are again some of the words, some of the expressions by which we can just happily tell lies. Massage the truth, tamper with the truth, and tell more than the truth. If you are just trying to explain something more, okay, this is the truth, but I'm just trying to tell more than the truth means, okay, in that part, there may be something that is away from truth. And you can again bend the truth, you can withhold the truth, and you can be lenient with honesty. We all have studied the lesson, honesty is the best policy. But again, at times we can be lenient with honesty also, because we are just trying to give a liberal approach to honesty. So if we have to be strict, we should be truthful thoroughly. Then again, we can just give it in another way also, present the truth in a favorable perspective. So making things clearer than the truth. So these are actually some of the ways by which people have been using to tell lies. So, I mean, those things may not directly look like lies. They don't look like, that means a person will not be branded that he or she is a liar. Okay, but it just looks normal. Okay, so that is again a thing we find in the post-truth era. And definition of post-truth. Again, this coming to the definition of post-truth. We have just heard about post-truth era and what can be the definition of post-truth. So, according to Oxford English Dictionary, it is relating to or denoting circumstances in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. So, from this definition, it is clear that facts are there, but these facts are supposed to be objective. Okay, that is also agreed. But again, these facts do not have much importance in shaping public opinion. Even their personal beliefs also may not matter. So that is actually the most important thing in post-truth. I'm just trying to explain it further. So it's again in post-truth era, we don't give. It means people do not give much importance to objectivity, even to rationality also. They give more importance to emotions. So, for example, if a particular team, okay, a particular party or a particular group, anything, so that party has an agenda. So this party wants the people to believe that his agenda is right, okay, that whatever this particular group has done is right. So they will be presenting it in such a way that people will not be bothered about facts more. Instead, okay, they'll be persuaded and they'll start believing that, okay, whatever that particular party is showing, that particular group is showing is right. So in a way, they are just trying to convince them with other set of it can be other set of facts, as I've already told you. They may not be disclosing or they will not be revealing everything. They'll be just selectively taking some set of facts. This is something we usually see at the time of elections. Okay, especially election manifesto and all. At the time of elections, we see a number of advertisements in television channels. Not just elections, even now also in some news channels and all, we see they will just try to give a picture they want. And here facts are there, but facts are not primarily, they are not primary. They are given secondary place only. So what is more important is not what is said, okay, but what is more important is how a thing is related. So I cannot actually clearly point out any particular party or anything of that sort, but I'm just trying to say that, suppose a particular person or a particular team has a particular agenda, okay, they will just narrate their things in such a way that they are right, okay, and the other is wrong. We see such things at the time of riots also. Okay, even when riots are reported, they will say that the other party, okay, the other group has actually started that, and this party has responded to it in that way. So this is again instigated by others. So they will be just putting all those things in that way. And so what happens is that what we really see in a news channel or what we read in a newspaper, that may not be completely true. So again, all those things depend upon the reporter's perspective also. So truth, absolute, that means truth we may not get, we may get truth that is again something that is relative. So it is usually used as a weapon of disinformation. That is Eric Altman says. So in the present world, we are actually bombarded with a lot of information. If we just actually use our mobile phone, just browse it, we can see a number of information about different things. Okay, different sources will be giving different kinds of information. So we are actually we are confused. We don't know which is true, which is wrong, whether we have to accept it, okay, whether we just should ignore it. So this is what actually happens. If you think about again, social network sites and all, anybody can be a content creator. Anybody can create a content. Anybody can actually post any kind of message. Anybody can create a meme. Anybody can actually post it, and that will be shared to some group of people. Again, that will be shared to some other group of people. So it will be just shared. It will be shared to a set of people, and what happens is that it may become viral. So when it becomes viral, we think, oh, it is right. Even though that thing may not be right, we may think, oh, it is right only. So what happens is that when a number of things are shown in a WhatsApp or some social networking sites, okay, even in WhatsApp, Instagram, then Twitter, anything actually, we see a number of comments. So there may be misinterpretation of things also. So even without trying to check whether the information we have received on it is authentic or not, we just forward it to somebody else, okay, and we just force others also to believe that. So in a way, it is creating some set of lies, okay, something called post-truth, okay, which we are not very sure whether that is again truth or not. That is not, that is factual or not. So in that way, we will be just propagating. So it's again misinformation about reality. In a simple psychological way, if somebody just tells something, okay, a kind of lie. So if this lie is shared on a public platform, okay, or a social network site, And that is again, shown in a very clever way. I have already told you about the linguistic capacity, okay, in a very clever way that is shown. And this is again passed on to other set of people. And again, this is passed on to other set of people. So what happens is that there will be, people will just accept it and they think that, okay, that lie becomes the truth. Okay, even though it is not actually truth, it becomes the truth. Okay, so people will not be thinking about it. They will not be using their rational faculty to understand whether it is right or not. So they will be just passing it on to others. So we are just bothered about getting the likes, and again whether it is shared or not, whether it becomes viral or not. So in that way, a set of misinformation will be shared in a society. This creates a lot of problem in the society also. So even at the time of some other kind of agitation, other kind of riots and all, these things happen. And because all people may not have the same perspective, so the perspectives may vary. So they will be giving their opinions, colored opinions, so that others also will believe what they say is true. So what happens is that it is a kind of manipulation of public opinion. Especially people thought that when Trump won the election, many people thought that Trump will not be winning the election. When Trump won the election, so many people thought that okay, he was again Trump was Trump and Trump's party, they were successful in manipulating public opinion, and they could just brainwash them, and then they could get the victory. So this is applicable to other countries also. I'm not speaking about it. So this is what happens. And in post-truth, actually, these words, half-truths, alternative facts, they are all used very much. So half-truth cannot be truth completely. Okay, so the concept of half-truth itself shows that it's not truth. Okay, it's not fully lie also. So this is again something that that is between truth and lie, that kind of a thing. So even if it is not fully, even if it is not a full lie, we can never call that it is truth. So that is again how things are happening. So in these days, when we just try to get information from Facebook, then Twitter, Instagram, or WhatsApp, okay, even from online websites and all, rarely we try to find out whether it is authentic or not. So as I've already told you, anybody can create a post, anybody can create a meme, anybody can post it, anybody can share it. So the problem is that we all will be misled in different ways. So we don't find any kind of a filter to see whether it is authentic or not, whether it is true or not. So that is a problem we find in the present society. So what are the problems of this post-truth narratives? Post-truth narratives will not allow people to know what is true. They will be confusing people because they will be giving a set of opinions or a set of thoughts which they want people to believe. Okay, so in a way, they are just trying to persuade people to believe falsehood. So this usually happens with the people who are in power, or the governments, the ruling parties, the ruling governments. That happens because they want to show that okay, they are successful in this, they are actually doing for the welfare of the society. So they may just try to persuade people to believe whatever they are doing is right. So though it may not be factual. So this is a kind of threat to journalism, because I've already told you anybody can share information. So previously, it was again completely managed by journalists. Journalists only would be sharing information. They would be reporting from different areas. So in print media and even in visual media also, we used to see in that way. But when actually the social networking sites became very popular, they are not bothered about any kind of reporting. So we can see, you might have actually seen many fake news also about different things, because one can take a photo and one can even morph it and just post something else Okay, so this will be posted and this will be shared and this becomes viral. So in a way, the person will be again sharing misinformation only. So even to slander a person also, this can be used. So it need not be completely used in political scenario. It can be used even at a personal level also, okay, even at an institutional level also. So anyway, in any way, actually, we can do this. So journalists actually have to provide a kind of fact check or reality check. Some national channels are again trying to do that. Even in some regional channels also, you can say, because some kind of fake news become viral. Okay, people will be just forwarding it. They don't, without trying to know whether it is authentic or not, they will just forward it, and so that may create a lot of uproar also, because a kind of unrest also can be created in a society. So some journalists, some news channels and all, they will just try to show fact check. Okay, so any kind of reality check also will be shown in some channels that I have seen actually. So I mean, another problem with this is again a threat to democracy. Okay, this is something people will not readily admit, but this is what is happening. Because if media, okay, if all those things are in the hands of ruling party, they can shape the public opinion to their favor. Okay, if this is something that happens all over the world, okay, we need not speak about any particular country. So this happens, especially in a totalitarian government. This is widely used. So it becomes a kind of threat to democracy, because we all are very fond of democracy, and we believe that that is the only form of government that will be giving justice to all. So when any particular party, any particular government can manipulate the opinion, public opinion, the way it wants, naturally there won't be any kind of opposition also. Even if there is opposition, that opposition will become weak. So it will definitely create a kind of threat to democracy. Okay, and another problem is that nepotism, favoritism we can see, because even we see that actually I cannot very clearly articulate things, but again, even for the same kind of violation of rule, okay, even this for the same kind of crime, we see some people punished whereas some people are not punished. Okay, so because if those who are not punished may not be the people who belong to the ruling party, the government, okay, anywhere. So a kind of nepotism we can see. So this nepotism can be on a racial line, can be on regional line, a linguistic line, casteist line. So anyway, okay, any kind of nepotism can happen. So if when people are not just getting informed, or people are not informed about reality, people are not able to understand what is happening around them, okay, what are the facts around them. So definitely this will create a kind of nepotism. So, and outcome is again the violation of justice. Okay, when we say that double standards in even in imparting justice, naturally violation of justice will also happen. So these are some of the things actually we see in the society we live. Okay, even in and around us. Okay, lies are not actually shown as lies. Okay, so as I've already told you, it may not look like completely a lie, but again there may be an element of truth in it. But this truth may not. Uh, I mean. This truth is not enough to say that it is fully truth. So that kind of a thing we can say. Always there is a selection of facts. So even in the news channels or in any kind of media also, we see that. Even in some channels also, some channels are not just bothered about checking whether whatever they receive is true or not. They will be just telecasting it, even without whatever information they get from the onlooker, the spectator. They will be just informing it even without. So that may create again a wrong opinion, a false opinion about the things which are depicted. Then I'm just connecting it to pandemic. Okay, so this is actually what we speak about post-truth. You all are living in post-truth world already. This is a post-truth era. There's no doubt about it. So how can we actually connect a pandemic? So not just specifically to COVID-19, even before that also. Pandemic was there. Okay, pandemic is is nothing new. It was there even before also. If we just read some of the sources in internet and all, we can find that okay, even in 14th century there was Black Death. Okay, then again, even before that also plagues. Where they in Black Death again, a major chunk of population was wiped out. Okay, you might have heard about it. Then recently, actually, people speak about Spanish flu a lot. So even here, actually, I can just show a post-truth application of post-truth, because the Spanish flu, it was there in the world from 1918 to 1920. Okay, in 4 ways, actually, it attacked people. Even now, we cannot get a correct figure about the number of deaths. So people say that, even some people in the sense, some internet sources will be giving the information that it is between 20 million and 50 million. So, more than at least many people have died. Okay, so, but again, it is mentioned, one thing I have to tell you is that the word Spanish flu. So when we think about the word Spanish flu, what do we think? Okay, it came from Spain only. That's why, okay, we are using the word Spanish flu. That is not the reality actually. Spain was not the hard hit country by this flu, by this influenza. Okay, it began in US was hard hit. Okay, there were other countries also which were hardly hit by this. Were hit by this. But again, it is the name Spanish flu is given because at that time, okay, it was again the First World War missions were going on. So Spain was not very much involved in it. So Spain's name only came out. Okay, so somehow the report started giving the impression that Spain was the country that was hit badly by this virus. So that is why the name Spanish flu exists. Even now also people are using the word Spanish flu. So at the time of pandemic, what usually happens is again underreporting the number of infected patients and even death. And so how many people died, how many people are infected by any kind of pandemic is not usually correctly informed. Okay, any official figure we find will not be correct. It will be usually lesser than what is actually happening in the society. So if I just try to speak about the present pandemic, okay, COVID-19 pandemic, about the epicenter of the pandemic also, we know that means it was in Wuhan, okay, and in China. And then there, even when it began also, there was you might have heard about a doctor who just tried to report it to the government that this was not the SARS kind of epidemic or MERS, okay, it was something different. So there, what happened was that the government thought it is a kind of anti-nationalistic kind of approach only. So government did not allow him to spread the news. So this person was arrested and he was reprimanded and he was asked to asked to keep quiet about it. So here, whatever the government wanted to say was not said by this person. Okay, that was the thing, because government could not actually tolerate his opinion about the disease. So government was just trying to create public opinion in such a way that, okay, this was not a very dangerous kind of a virus. Okay, this was not a dangerous kind of a disease. So he, by reprimanding this doctor, they were just trying to get victory. So this is also a kind of a post-truth narrative we can see at the time of pandemic. Even at the very beginning itself, we can see that. And then if you just think about, okay, the number of cases reported in China, even now some news channels say that it's a kind of mystery. Okay, how many people are how many people were infected with this virus, how many people died in this virus. Okay, so people cannot believe that, because in the beginning they reported some figures. Okay, later they had to admit that, okay, what they reported in the beginning was wrong. Okay, and they were just trying to admit that it was something else. They had to show that, okay, that means more number of people died. So here, that I've already told you, underreporting the number of infected patients, okay, that happens in different parts of the world, okay. Even China, it happened, okay, not just in China, even in other places also, it happened. If you just think about Iran, okay, if you just check the worldometer, if you just check the worldometer, the number of patients infected by this pandemic, it may be less than 4 lakhs. Even now also, if you just check it, less than 4 lakhs. But again, there were other reports which showed it was more than 2 crore. Okay, so some things are not let out. So they are just creating a kind of post-truth narrative about the impact of, or the about the pandemic in their own area. So not revealing the facts about it. So then people generally say that in North Korea there is no COVID case at all. So North Korea, again, it's a totalitarian government only. It's a dictatorship. So nobody can say what is actually happening in North Korea. So nobody has the courage to report the facts over there. So even actually, I happened to read some articles in Guardian. So there it is mentioned that almost all nook and corner of the world is affected by this pandemic. If anybody says that, okay, this country is, any province is free from this virus, it seems to be a kind of totalitarian government only. So, so this is actually what is happening, underreporting the number of cases. And one more thing I have to tell you, there is another problem related to it. Some labs are actually conducting tests. Okay, recently, some piece of information is again, a piece of information is passed about, it's shared in WhatsApp groups, okay, even in Facebook and other. So some things are again proved correct. So some labs, okay, a few labs will be testing that. So those labs which will be reporting that, okay, some people have been diagnosed with this kind of a disease, COVID-19, they've been tested positive. So they will be getting more profit. So some labs actually tested all patients negative because they were negative only. They were just trying to create a fair report of it. So later they understood that, okay, if positive cases were reported, they would be getting more profit. So what happened that they also started manipulating the data and they started reporting, okay, so more number of patients were tested positive. So this, I heard that it happened in the US, okay, in other parts of the world, I'm not sure. So here, what happens is that even the number of cases that have been reported may not be correct. Okay, we are not getting facts. Even when people are tested negative, maybe for the sake of profit, some labs will be just trying to show that, okay, these people are tested positive. So even that also happens. A kind of mafia, okay, so that also actually works behind this kind of pandemics. That also we can see in the present society. And even when we come to again the point of vaccination, okay, the thought of vaccination also. We all have heard about, vaccination, different kinds of vaccination. Okay, Russia is now ready with some kind of vaccine. Even before that, okay, we have heard that in the UK, some kind of vaccine is ready. Before that, India was trying to bring a kind of vaccine. So we all were thinking, okay, one or the other kind of vaccine is ready. But till now, no proper test, full sets of tests have not been done. So it's not clear. So we hear a number of, narratives about vaccination. So people are again confused only what is true, what is not true. People do not know. Okay, so again, we have to wait and watch. Okay, so whether this will be right or not, we have to wait and watch. Then only we can see. So that is why there are a number of post-truth narratives even about this pandemic. And when we think about again, even about the food habits, okay, in the very beginning, I remember people were scared to have chicken, fish, and all because this particular disease broke out in Wuhan. So that too in a wet market. So people were thinking, okay, if anybody would be eating chicken, okay, that person would be infected with this. And then, so anyway, we are not eating raw meat, okay, we are not eating raw fish. We are actually eating cooked food. There is no problem at all. So anyway, people have, such strange thoughts, okay, because these kinds of thoughts are circulated, okay, these kinds of thoughts and narratives are circulated about different food habits. And then people usually speak about, okay, consuming, even now also people speak about consuming ginger, turmeric and all those things. So we don't know what is actually the truth, whether that will be guarding us or not, whether that will be protecting us or not, we don't know. So we are all living in actually in a in a society where there are a number of narratives about all these kinds of preventive measures, and even about medication also. Because you might have heard, even in India also, some kind of a drug, okay, was developed, okay, it was actually shown, it was developed that would be curing this coronavirus disease. And then people started depending on Ayurveda, some people started depending on Unani. So some of the other way, okay, they were just thinking that, okay, there would be an alternative, there will be another way, okay, an alternative for this kind of a problem. So till now, actually, nothing has been scientifically proved. Okay, we don't know whether these kinds of things will help or not. And even people say that some, even in some countries, some presidents and prime ministers in the very beginning, they did not give much seriousness to this pandemic. Okay? They thought that it would be a kind of flu only. Later, okay, they understood that it was much severe. It was actually severe, and it was not like flu. So even many actually, narratives were actually circulated in a society regarding this. So this created a lot of confusion. This created panic also among the people. So even now people are really afraid. So some people say that, okay, don't be afraid about it, because the fear about this pandemic itself will actually kill our spirit, okay, and that will be destroying our body. And even about safety measures also, we are not very clear about safety measures. Okay, we have heard about actually using sanitizers, and some say that more sanitizer, more use of sanitizer is again harmful to our skin. Then again, about washing your hands in with soap and all. So different things actually we hear around us. So we just believe that this is true, okay, and we are just going on with all these things. But frankly speaking, we don't know what exactly should be believed at this point of time. So many kinds of narratives, okay, different kinds of narratives are again circulated in the society about all these things. So some are not actually scientifically proved at all, okay. Some may be, some kind of narratives will create a different problem also. So even, I heard, actually, I happened to read in some newspapers and all, some people actually started drinking sanitizer, thinking that that would help them. So all such fake things were happening around us. So this is, we have to actually be very careful in this post-truth society. We have to find out what is fact, what is fiction, what is truth. So it is not easy for any citizen find it. So these cases, actually, we may have to use our rationality. So we may have to depend on news channels or newspapers which are reliable, which are again trying to give a kind of reality check or a kind of fact checking. So that will help us in the present pandemic situation. So just because somebody says that this is right, I just suggest all of you not to believe that. Even before we take a step, we have to think about, we have to use our reasoning, and then only actually we have to move forward. So for this, actually, for this lecture, just use these resources. Okay, I'm just pointing it out here. Before that, I would just like to show you a small video also. So just... So this is actually the present situation. Truth has been displaced by believability. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Hello?
Yes, madam. It is visible, ma'am.
Stop sharing. Hello, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is visible.
Yeah. Or just a minute. Audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Please watch this.
Oh, hi, Jenny. Come on in. Looks like you're having some trouble with addition. Now, don't be upset. You're here to learn. And we learn from mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Nuh-uh. Look at this question here. What is 2 plus 2? See, you wrote 22. But when we do addition, we don't just put the numbers next to each other. That's stupid. All right. I think about it this way. If I have 2 markers in this hand, and then I add the 2 markers from this hand, how many markers do I have now? 22. No, Danny, it's 4.
Mrs. Wells, we're Danny's parents.
Oh, yes, hello. Oh, please come in. Now, don't worry. It is completely normal for kids to get frustrated when they're struggling with a subject.
So what's this about Danny getting some answers wrong on this so-called test of yours?
We had a test. One of the questions was, what is 2 plus 2? Danny answered 22. And that's not the right answer.
Says who?
It says math.
Are you calling my son stupid?
No, of course not.
Who are you to say that your answer is right and that his is wrong?
No. She's right.
Thank you.
Right out of Nazi Germany.
You can't honestly tell me that you don't know what 2 plus 2 equals.
You got it all figured out, don't you? You smart-ass little tramp. What are you, some kind of retard?
All right. I'm sorry. I am not going to be able to continue this conversation.
We're going to complain to the principal about you.
Danny is a free thinker.
I'll have your job, bitch.
Not if you can't add 2 and 2 together, you won't.
Mrs. Wells,
Oh, sorry, Principal. I didn't see you.
I understand you had an issue yesterday with the parents of one of our students.
It did get a little crazy.
When things get out of hand, I really need you to let me know about it.
Sure. So how do you want to handle it?
I guess you could apologize.
What? His mom hit me.
I understand you told Danny he had a wrong answer on his test.
He did have a wrong answer on his test.
Yeah, it's not our job to tell students when they're right and wrong.
That is exactly what our job is.
Parents don't want you ramming your biased views down their kids' throats.
That's not biased. That's how math works.
You know what doesn't work? Your attitude. Look, maybe I can explain this in math terms so you can understand. If you took all the kids in this classroom and divided them by 0, that's exactly the amount of respect you're giving them. Something you'd like to say?
You can't divide a number by 0 and get 0.
So now I'm stupid. Some crazy administrator doing paperwork while you superstar teachers change the world.
Teachers clap, students clap. Teachers clap, students clap. Teachers clap. Are you going to apologize to the parents? teaching you hate children.
Please have a seat, Mrs. Wells.
Thank you. You know, I honestly think this will all blow over if we just wait a week or so.
I'm afraid we can't do that.
Why not?
They're suing.
For what?
Emotional distress to a minor. Mrs. Wells, can you please tell the members of this board exactly when you became aware of this fiasco and the events leading up to the riot?
Riot? I just told a student that 2 + 2 = 4.
We need for you to recant that.
What?
Just say that you're open to the possibility there might be multiple correct answers.
But that's not true. We can't let them bully us. And this is so stupid.
Stupid. That's your problem. Anyone who disagrees with you is stupid.
There is nothing to disagree with. There is only one correct answer.
For your sake, I certainly hope you have that correct answer when the media gets wind of this.
I do. It's 4.
I have my own answer. This school minus you equals tomorrow.
You're firing me?
Suspending while you reconsider your extremist views.
You brought this on yourself.
In what's being called Mathgate, an activist elementary school teacher was caught abusing her students' First Amendment rights.
It's an interesting story. Okay, so this teacher, this liberal elitist, tells this innocent little first grade kid that his answer is wrong. Only her answer is acceptable.
Yeah, but from what I hear, she doesn't even keep these students for more than a year. After that, they all leave her and go to another teacher.
It's called graduating.
So it's creating some good, healthy debate in this country. Some experts say that 2 + 2 = 4. Others say that it's 22.
No, they don't.
Look, if you hate America that much, why don't you just go teach in commie France?
Hello.
Hello, Mrs. Wells. The board decided that for everyone's benefit, your services will no longer be required.
For everyone's benefit? How about the kids?
I need you to come by the school tomorrow. We don't need you radicalizing our students anymore.
Mrs. Wells, thank you so much for coming. You know, I'm just so sorry it happened this way. If only you'd been willing to be more open-minded.
About math? What about academic integrity?
You were warned, given an explanation, and yet you persisted. But we will, of course, fulfill our financial obligations. Now, that's $2,000 for your last pay period and $2,000 for this one, so that's $4,000.
Wrong. It's 22,000.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you understood how post-truth narratives work in a society with this video.
Oh, hi, Danny. Come on in.
Thank you. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Madam. Okay. Thank you so much, madam. Thank
Can
you
you
so
hear
much.
me?
Yes, ma'am. Please audible.
I can't hear you.
Am I audible, ma'am?
You please unmute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute.
Add the 2 markers from this hand. How many markers do I have now? 22.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for your enlightening presentation, madam. So I think the video is apt for all the teachers. That is what happening now.
Yeah.
And I hope most of us got clear-cut idea about the post-truth narratives. I think most powerful antidote of the post-truth society is learning and education. They must play a major role in finding workable solutions to address the challenges of the post-truth society. So dear participants, so with that, we will go ahead and take some time for questions. The chat box is enabled, so you can post your questions in there, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions directly to the resource person. Thank you. So in YouTube, I have seen a question, madam. So Enamel Kabir Pasha, so he says that many others down the ages spoke of higher truth, deeper truth, and poetic truth, etc. From Aristotle to Romantics. So are those discourse parts of post-truth?
See, they are not truth in the true sense. Even when we speak about poetic truth also, we cannot actually say this is a different set of truth. Even when we speak about literature, literature does not reflect reality as it is. It's a kind of mirrored reality only. Okay, so poets always have the license to tell lies. Okay, poets always have the license to tell truth in the way they like. So this will not be related to facts. They are creating another imaginary world. Hope you understood that.
Okay, ma'am. So we have one more question for
Madam.
Excuse me.
Madam, I am Padmaja, lecturer in chemistry, V.K.V Government Degree College, madam. Madam, I am audible.
Yeah, you're audible, ma'am.
Madam, what is the difference between lies and post-truth? Can you narrate?
So lies is again intentionally we tell lies. Okay, if we want to tell a lie, intentionally we do that. Even post-truth also we do intentionally. But the difference is that post-truth cannot be termed completely a lie, okay, and completely true. It will be standing somewhere between that. There will be a set of facts, okay. So, but again, we cannot call it truth. That's what I actually told, okay, because Ralph Keynes was using that kind of a phrase for that. We cannot say that it is fully true, but it will not, I have already pointed out that it will not have the sting of a liar. Okay? Suppose, somebody just tells a post-truth thing. People will not be actually punishing that person for that. Just for circulating a post-truth narrative, people will not be punishing because that will not be branded a lie clearly. But it will not be fully a truth also. Hope you understood. Madam?
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
We can fabricate things and present in the way we like. But others cannot say it is fully a lie.
Yeah. So nice, madam. It's a very good presentation.
Okay.
So we have a question from Lasiu ma'am. So is post-truth healthy for a society or in school?
It's not healthy for society or in school also. Okay, because 2 plus 2 equal to 4 only. Okay, we cannot speak about personal opinion and all. We have already seen that. So there are some things, okay, we have to promote a person's creative faculty, but that doesn't mean that we have to allow a person to tell lies. You have seen the, I mean, people, you all might have seen that video, okay? In that one, that is alternate math. The alternate math is again 2 plus 2, anywhere it should be 4 only, okay? Just by saying that, you know, that child wanted it to be 22, it's not 22. So there are some things, some facts which we cannot actually change. So they should be as they are. We can allow a child to enhance his or her creativity. There is nothing wrong with it. That is again in literature class. Hope you understood that.
Okay, we have a question from Balakrishna sir, ma'am.
Yes.
What are areas to find research in post-truth health?
Post-truth health. Post-truth health?
Yes, ma'am. Post-truth health.
See, even about this pandemic narratives itself, actually you can find out. Okay, even about again what is food, lifestyle, different kinds of. I mean, a particular lifestyle will be helpful. Okay, so even this kind of a food will not be giving more resistance, and it will not be giving any kind of problem. So even during this time, there was again propaganda for vegan diet. You might have seen that. Okay, because some vegans were just trying to propagate that was good. Okay, and that would be only healthy. So all these narratives also, if you want, okay, you can take it, no problem.
So one more question from Chandrakala. What are the sources to know truth?
That is again, we see if something is there, maybe some reliable news channels we may have to depend. As a citizen, we cannot go directly into it and we can do fact checking. Even one thing we can do is that whenever we see some kind of a post on WhatsApp or Facebook, we have to see which source is actually providing that. What is the authenticity of it? Because some some news channels are supposed to be reliable. Even in Facebook also, some posts given by some news channels seem to be even print media also, they are actually branded as reliable. So we can actually cross verify with this, okay, and we can see whether this thing is there in other sources also. So that is why I've already told you some of the channels are already providing a kind of fact check for this. So they will be just say that this is fake news, because anybody can actually take a photo of somebody and they can morph and they show that this is something else. So as a citizen, we cannot actually go directly into the field and do it. We can just see which kind of a news network is again providing reliable information. That is the way actually we can do this.
Thank you, ma'am. Abdul Rahim. He asked, ma'am, simply say, how can we reach to teach in this pandemic on literature with effective? Which areas to focus?
How can we teach literature effectively during this pandemic? That is the thing, no? Okay. So I can just suggest some ways. I cannot say that I'll be correct, okay? But I'm just trying. See, anyway, as literature teachers, you may be given, some kind of syllabus. You have to teach with that only. Okay, so for that, you can actually bring some apt videos which will be befitting that particular theme, and in that way you may actually try, because a visual media will be more information, so that will help the students to learn more. So this can be one way, I think. Okay. Other than that, I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer more.
So any more questions from the audience?
Yeah, somebody raised hand. Satya Sunita raised hand.
I'm unmuting him.
Yeah.
Satya Sunita, please unmute yourself.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I hope you are doing very good research according to lie and post-truth.
Thank you.
I followed the class very interactively and waiting for the questionnaire section very eagerly. What I noticed that there is a little difference between post-truth and lie.
Yeah.
So I would like to raise my question is, what is most dangerous, lie or post-truth?
I think post-truth is more dangerous. Because post-truth will convince people, we will not even know that we believe a lie.
Yes, ma'am. It seemed to be a fiction,
Yeah.
but we feel like a poetry. So I thought it is a very dangerous, but I'm confirming. Thank you, ma'am. And your session has been very wonderful for the each and every literature and those who are enhancing the truth.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So now we have one more question from YouTube, madam. How can we avoid fake news?
Yeah. See, I have already told you, as a citizen, it is not easy for us to find out what is fake and what is not fake. One thing I've already told you, it is again to depend on some authentic source. Even I've seen actually some others actually when they post something on Facebook, when they reply to some comment on Facebook, they just see whether that report was there in some other authentic source, some authentic news channel, or some other authentic news. We have online newspapers, okay? So something that is authentic, they'll try to find out, because it is a part of professional ethics of journalists. Journalists will be providing a kind of fact check. Only thing we can do is that we should not accept everything. We should not swallow any piece of information. We have to think many times before we accept. Authenticity can be checked by, just checking whether that is there in some other authentic newspaper or, authentic channel. There are authentic channels. Okay, that is there.
So Rizwana Banu from YouTube, ma'am, she is asking us, what is the goal or aim of post-truth narratives?
I have already told you, it's again, see, somebody who wants to be in power will try to retain power by creating and by circulating post-truth narratives. Okay, it is again a kind of it's a political weapon. Okay, frankly speaking, it's a political weapon. Okay, so what that particular team has mentioned, okay, that particular group has mentioned is correct. They want to show, okay, and sometimes this becomes an election manifesto also. And I've already told you, in many societies, many nations, it's just like the destruction of democracy.
So we have a question.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I answered your question.
We have a question from Namrata ma'am. She is asking, is the modern society treating post-truth or a lie as a creativity or crime?
It's not treated like a crime. Okay? Because we don't see anybody being punished for, circulating post-truth narratives. Another creative activity only.
So one more question, madam. So how do you look at politics versus pandemic? From Ashok.
How do you, once again?
How do you look at politics versus pandemic?
Politics versus pandemic, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not actually, I don't think that it is politics versus pandemic. Politics is actually using pandemic, okay, for their personal, for the party benefits, okay, because this how they are trying to control this pandemic will definitely a part of the next election manifesto. Okay, this is the time we see a lot of political propaganda being circulated. You watch any channel, okay, you watch any, not just in India, even in other countries also, okay. So this is the time when, politics is again thriving. Post-truth politics is again thriving only, actually. This is what is happening.
Okay. So one more last question, madam. From Ashok Bandla. Which genre is close to narrate the pandemic?
See, I can just tell you, if it is again, if we want to be a true narrative, okay, a journalistic kind of narrative, then we have to depend on journalistic resources. But pandemic, there are references to pandemic even in literature also. There is something called a pandemic literature. I hope at least some literature teachers might have heard. So that depends on the perspective you have to take. If you have to look at pandemic from a medical perspective, okay, then you have to go to the medical background. Okay? If you have to look at the pandemic from a political perspective, then you have to see the effects of the pandemic on the society and how this politics and political propaganda has been used. So again, it depends again on the perspective. If it is again, for political and from the humanities point of view, I think we can take journalistic sources for that.
So it looks like we have covered most of the questions, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you today. Now I request M. Padmaja, madam, lecturer in chemistry, to give vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. A very good evening to one and all. Now we came to an end of the lively session. It's a great pleasure for me to propose vote of thanks. I am Padmaja, lecturer in chemistry, V.K.V Government Degree College, Kothapeta. More than 500 participants were from various state colleges and university success itself. On behalf of our college and Department of English, I would like to thank our Honorable Commissioner Sir for his support and motivation. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to our RJD, David Kumar Sir, for providing encouragement to organize this event. I am delighted to express my sincere thanks to our beloved JD and Principal, Dr. V. Papaya Shastri Garu, for giving an excellent coverage of our college and for his enormous cooperation and encouragement. I express my heartfelt thanks to our in-charge principal, B. Vishnumurthy Garu, for his guidance and support. As they always say that if you are more fortunate than others, build a longer table, not a taller fence. We are fortunate to have Dr. Sajna Raj, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Adikavi Nannaya University, as our resource person. On behalf of our college, Department of English and participants, I take the privilege to thank today's resource person, Dr. Sajna Raj Madam, for her kind and timely acceptance and for her valuable information on post-truth narratives during pandemic times. I would like to thank Mrs. Shahjadi Begum Madam, convener of this program, for organizing this wonderful webinar. I would like to thank our colleagues for their constant support on sending mails and invitations to all colleges. My special thanks to Subramaniam Sir, Commerce Lecturer, Government Degree College, Nerdavolu, for providing a strong technical support for conducting this webinar smoothly. We are indeed thankful to you, sir. Our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to our participants for their huge participation in making this webinar a grand success. Thank you so much for your kind participation. Hope you all enjoyed the session and gained the knowledge. With these warm words and a kind message, we move to the end of today's webinar. Thank you one and all. Now I request all the participants to turn on your videos so that we can take a group picture. Once again, thank you one and all. Have a nice day. I request all the participants to turn on your videos, please, to have a group picture. I request all the participants, please turn on your videos.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, done, ma'am.
Madam, it's over to Shahjadi Madam.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. So now it is time to close our session. Once again, I thank all the participants for being here and making this day a grand success. Thank you so much.
So,